Sam Elliott has always seemed larger than life. That deep, resonant voice feels like it belongs to another era, something carved out of dust, wind, and old Western film reels. For decades, he has carried himself with a quiet authority, rarely loud, never desperate for attention. Audiences didn't just watch him, they trusted him. There was something grounding about his presence, as if no matter how chaotic the story became, he would remain steady at its center. But what makes his story so compelling isn't just the roles he played, it's the restraint with which he lived. Elliott never chased the spotlight in the way many actors do. Instead, he let time, patience, and persistence shape his journey, building something far more enduring than fame alone. A voice that echoes through generations, so there are voices you hear, and then there are voices you feel. Elliott's belongs to the latter. It carries weight, history, and an almost poetic stillness that lingers long after he's finished speaking. That voice became his signature, but it also became a kind of expectation. People began to associate him with strength, calm, and an old-school masculinity that seemed to be fading from modern cinema. Yet behind that voice was a man still figuring things out, still searching for his place. It's easy to forget that even icons start as uncertain dreamers. Before the recognition, before the reverence, Elliott was just another actor trying to be heard. Ironically, someone whose most famous trait would one day become the very thing that set him apart. Dreams that face doubt at home. Long before Hollywood took notice, Elliott faced a more personal challenge, earning the approval of his father. Their relationship was layered, filled with expectations that didn't quite align with Elliott's ambitions. His father valued stability, something acting rarely guarantees. To him, it may have seemed like an impractical dream, a risky path with no clear destination. That quiet tension left an imprint on Elliott, shaping his determination, but also planting seeds of doubt. When his father passed away before witnessing his success, it left behind a silence heavier than any argument. There were no final reassurances, no moment of shared pride. Just the lingering question of what might have been said. That absence stayed with him, becoming both a source of motivation and a quiet ache he carried forward. The slow climb through Hollywood's success didn't arrive quickly or easily. Elliott's early years in Hollywood were marked by persistence rather than breakthroughs. He took on whatever roles he could find, small parts, background appearances, commercials, anything that kept him moving forward. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't even particularly rewarding at times. But it was necessary. Those years taught him patience in a way instant success never could. He learned how to wait, how to endure rejection without losing direction. While others chased trends, Elliott stayed rooted in his identity, even when it limited his opportunities. The industry often saw him as a type rather than a versatile performer. Still, he kept showing up, trusting that consistency would eventually open doors that talent alone could not. Becoming the cowboy archetype. Over time, Elliott became synonymous with the American cowboy. His appearance, his voice, his demeanor, it all fit so naturally that it almost seemed inevitable. Films like Tombstone helped solidify that image, placing him firmly within a tradition that celebrated rugged individualism and quiet strength. But being typecast is a double-edged sword. While it brings recognition, it can also limit growth. Elliott mastered those roles, giving them depth and authenticity, but there was always more beneath the surface. The challenge was convincing others to see it. He wasn't just a cowboy, he was an actor capable of far more. Yet breaking free from such a powerful image required time, patience, and the right opportunity to reveal what had been there all along. A performance that changed perception. That opportunity came with A Star is Born. In a role that demanded vulnerability rather than stoicism, Elliott delivered something unexpected. His performance wasn't loud or dramatic in the traditional sense. Instead, it was deeply human, filled with subtle emotion and unspoken pain. Audiences saw a different side of him, a man capable of expressing fragility without losing strength. It was a reminder that true acting isn't about transformation alone, but about revealing truth. The recognition that followed wasn't just for a single performance, it was for a lifetime of quiet dedication. After years of being underestimated, Elliott finally received acknowledgement for the depth he had always possessed, proving that patience can lead to moments that redefine an entire career. The weight of longevity. There is a unique kind of loneliness that comes with a long life in Hollywood. Elliott has watched as generations of actors have come and gone, as friends and colleagues faded into memory. The industry itself has changed, moving away from the kind of storytelling that once defined his career. Westerns, once a dominant force, have become rare. For someone so closely tied to that genre, it's like watching a part of himself slowly disappear, yet he remains adapting without abandoning who he is. Longevity isn't just about survival, it's about staying relevant while holding on to your identity. Elliott has managed to do both, even as the world around him continues to evolve in ways that might feel unfamiliar. The silence behind strength. What makes Elliott's story particularly moving is how little he speaks about his struggles. In an era where vulnerability is often shared publicly, he has chosen a different path. His pain, his regrets, his losses, they remain mostly unspoken. That silence isn't weakness, it's a reflection of his nature. He expresses himself through his work rather than words, allowing his performances to carry the weight of his experiences. There's something deeply human about that choice. Not everyone needs to explain their pain for it to be real. Elliott's strength lies in his ability to carry those invisible scars without letting them define him. It's a quiet resilience, one that doesn't demand attention but earns respect nonetheless. Love, partnership, and stability. Amid the challenges of his career, Elliott found something rare in Hollywood: lasting love. His relationship with Catherine Ross has been a cornerstone of his life, offering stability in an otherwise unpredictable industry. Their partnership is built on mutual respect and understanding, something that has endured through decades of change. In a world where relationships often falter under pressure, theirs has remained steady. That kind of support can make all the difference, especially in a career filled with uncertainty. It's a reminder that success isn't just about professional achievements. Sometimes it's about having someone who understands the journey, someone who stands beside you through both the highs and the quiet, challenging moments. A legacy beyond the screen. Elliott's legacy isn't defined solely by the roles he's played, but by the way he's lived. He represents a kind of authenticity that feels increasingly rare. There's no pretense, no carefully constructed persona, just a man who stayed true to himself despite the pressures of an industry that often demands compromise. That authenticity resonates with audiences because it feels real. It reminds us that success doesn't have to come at the cost of identity. Elliott didn't reinvent himself to fit changing trends. He remained consistent, allowing the world to eventually catch up to him. That approach may not be the fastest path to recognition, but it's one that builds something far more meaningful over time. The enduring quiet of a life well lived. At this stage in his life, Elliott stands as more than just an actor. He is a symbol of endurance, a testament to what it means to stay the course even when the road is uncertain. His story isn't filled with dramatic twists or loud declarations. Instead, it unfolds with a quiet grace, shaped by moments of loss, persistence, and reflection. There's a certain beauty in that simplicity. It reminds us that not all journeys need to be extraordinary to be meaningful. Sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones told softly, through actions rather than words. And in that quiet, steady way, Sam Elliott has created a legacy that will continue to resonate long after the final curtain falls.